Even after falling from the cliff and crashing into the ground, Tang Wu remained alive. After some time, he slowly opened his eyes. He realized he had survived, but his body no longer responded. Lying motionless inside the crater formed by the fall, he checked his condition and understood that his innate qi had completely dispersed. Death would not be far away. Using the last remaining strength in his body, Tang Wu looked around. The area was covered with butterflies. As they gradually flew away, the ground beneath them became visible. Bodies were scattered everywhere. Tang Wu looked more carefully. They were the fallen wedding guests and pirates. But something was wrong. These people had not simply died from the fall. Someone had finished them afterward. Then, Tang Wu noticed someone sitting nearby behind him. He slowly turned. After recognizing the figure, he spoke in disbelief. It was Tang Sam. Tang Wu looked again. The slaughtered martial artist beneath the cliff. The sword stained with blood. Tang Sam sitting there as though he had been waiting. After a pause, Tang Wu asked who he really was. Holding a small dagger, our protagonist approached and called him by name. Then, with a calm but distorted expression, he said Tang Wu had no idea how long he had waited for this moment. Tang Wu became angry. He reminded him that he had personally given him the Tang family name, and now he intended to kill him. Tang Wu cursed him and accused him of turning against his own master. He said he should have killed him back on the ship. Then he ordered the goo inside Tang Sam's body to tear apart its host. Tang Wu even laughed and said the parasite would soon destroy him from within. But our protagonist quietly raised the dagger. He pointed it directly toward Tang Wu's eye. Then he told him that thing had already been removed long ago. Tang Wu froze. He could not understand how that was possible. Our protagonist tightened his grip on the dagger and held it above Tang Wu. Then he thought quietly. This world was a world of madmen. People learned techniques created for killing and called them martial arts. People lived by laws where the weak became prey. Sometimes they acted in the name of orthodoxy, sometimes in the name of unorthodoxy, sometimes in the name of the demonic path. But in the end, all of them enforced their justice through violence. In this place where strength became order, there were butterflies flying through the sky, and he had been nothing more than a caterpillar crawling below. But now, in this world, he would kill Tang Wu. He would become a butterfly, and once again, become a hunter that hunted the beasts known as martial artists. Holding the dagger with both hands, our protagonist looked at Tang Wu and said with a twisted smile, Tang Wu was his greatest prey. Tang Wu refused to accept it. He struggled and shouted that the soul-chasing poison hand could not die to someone he had once raised. He denied it to the very end. But before he could continue, our protagonist drove the dagger directly into his eye. Tang Wu's body went still. The moment Tang Wu died, blue light began gathering around our protagonist. The light spread from every direction. Then it intensified. A massive pillar of blue light shot into the sky and covered the entire area. After some time, the light gradually faded. Looking upward, our protagonist realized his level had risen dramatically. He gained 10 levels and reached level 24. After seeing the result, he thought quietly. 10 levels was significant, but it felt lower than expected for someone with Tang Wu's reputation. He had expected more. Looking at Tang Wu's body, he reached a conclusion. Tang had already been near death. Most likely, the experience had already been dispersed, and if the enemies above had pushed Tang Wu to this state, then going back now would accomplish nothing. Either he still could not defeat them, or they had already escaped. Then another update appeared before him. His first class advancement quest, the Tester Exclusive Vagabond Advancement, had reached 99 out of 100. Only one enemy of level 10 or higher remained. Our protagonist paused. Then, he pulled the dagger free. Tang Wu's damaged, I came with it. He cleaned the blade with one motion. Then he thought, Tang Wu could not have fallen alone. He had not found her yet, but she had to be somewhere nearby. A smile appeared on his face. Only one more remained, until he advanced in a vagabond. The scene shifted to another location near the bottom of the cliff. The two women had fallen there. Lady Hai had crashed against a large stone. Lady Hua had fallen into the earth nearby. After some time, Hua slowly regained consciousness. Looking at the unfamiliar surroundings, she tried to understand where she was. When she attempted to move, pain spread through her body. Her leg refused to support her. She realized it was badly broken. She did not know how much time had passed, but she was alive. Then she saw Hai. Hua immediately became worried. Ignoring her injuries, she tried to move toward her. She called out and reached for her. But after getting close, she realized Hai was already dead. Her expression collapsed. Tears appeared, but after a moment, she forced herself to continue. Her grandfather had told her to survive, so she had to live. Slowly, she crawled forward. Again and again, she repeated the same thought. She had to survive. She had to return to the Tang clan. She had to keep moving. But after crawling a short distance, she suddenly stopped. Someone was standing in front of her. She looked up and recognized him. Her eyes widened. She asked how he had ended up here. Our protagonist looked down at her silently. His expression remained cold and dark. Wall looked at our protagonist in confusion and asked how he had ended up there. Then she quickly tried to gather herself and asked for help. She said she needed to return to the Tang family, but her legs no longer responded. At that moment, her eyes stopped on the dagger in his hand. Blood was dripping from it. Seeing the blade, she suddenly remembered something from childhood. Tang Wu had once told her that members of the Tang family built their internal energy through poison, and because of that, poison naturally accumulated inside their bodies over time. The deeper their training became, the more poison spread through their bones, muscles, and blood. It was not enough to become a danger to themselves, but enough to affect the outside world. To show her, Tang Wu had once melted a piece of iron with poison. After that, he lightly tapped her head and told her never to neglect training because one day she would reach his level, or perhaps even surpass him. Returning to the present, Hua looked again at the dagger. The corrosion marks left on the blade matched Tang Wu's poison. Her expression slowly changed. She asked whether he had killed her grandfather. Unable to understand it, she asked how someone who had been given the Tang surname could do something like this. Then anger replaced confusion. Calling him a traitor, she forced her broken body forward. Using what little strength remained, she crawled and grabbed him, saying she would kill him. Our protagonist looked down at her. His expression stayed cold. Looking at Hua struggling across the ground, he quietly thought that it looked no different from insects. To him, Manhwa itself had become a giant goo jar created by the heavenly demon castle, a place where insects survive by killing one another. And wasn't it said that the longer an insect survived inside the jar, the more poisonous it became? If every insect died and only one remained, how powerful would that accumulated poison become? Looking at Tang Hua, he wondered the same. After thinking for a moment, he sat down near her. Then he calmly said that killing her now held little value. It might not even fulfill what he needed, because she was weak, still crying. Hua repeated his words in disbelief and asked what he was talking about. Our protagonist then drove the dagger into the ground directly in front of her. He admitted that Tang Wu had died by his hands, and because of that, if she wanted repayment for Tang Wu's life, she should come and take it herself. He said he would wait. Those words broke her completely. As he turned and walked away, Hua cried, cursed him, and swore she would kill him one day. She shouted that he would regret leaving her alive. But our protagonist continued walking. While leaving, he thought that Manhwa was no longer the only goo jar. Now the entire Murim had become one. The orthodox path, the unorthodox path, the heavenly demon castle. Soon, countless insects would gather and kill each other. And if he wanted to survive, if he wanted to continue hunting, he needed to become stronger than he was now. At minimum, strong enough to stand against someone of Tang Wu's level. Looking at his status, our protagonist judged that reaching the vagabond class would probably require more than completing the condition alone. He estimated that he would also need to reach level 30. He looked up at the sky and quietly thought about what came next. To get there, he would need to hunt more efficiently than before. Then his expression slowly changed. A faint smile appeared on his face. He decided to change his hunting ground. As he continued walking, he thought that he needed a place with more blood, more battles, and more opportunities to gain experience. Meanwhile, the scene shifted back to the top of the cliff. The explosion created by Tang Wu had ended. All three shadows survived, but suffered heavy injuries. Silver Shadow struggled to stand and complained that Tang Wu had detonated hidden weapons directly in front of them. He admitted he had believed the Tang clan's heaven-shrouding petal rain had already been lost. Shifting Shadow explained that what Tang Wu used was incomplete. According to him, Tang Wu lacked the internal energy to reproduce the original technique and only managed to recreate its outer form by detonating the hidden weapons he had prepared beforehand. Even while saying that, Shifting Shadow quietly admitted to himself that the result was still far stronger than expected. He looked toward Water Shadow. Her body had been heavily damaged from shielding them. Shifting Shadow concluded that they had survived only because Water Shadow had taken the impact. Otherwise, they would not have made it out alive. Silver Shadow agreed. He commented that Water Shadow had always been unusually durable and that her heart guard had kept her alive, even if she was now barely holding on. After that, Shifting Shadow turned and announced the next step. Silver Shadow would take Water Shadow and return to Mubon. Meanwhile, he himself would head to the Murim Alliance and prepare the second stratagem. Silver Shadow immediately reacted. He became alarmed and protested. Going to Mubon alone was something he clearly wanted to avoid. He refused and insisted they should return together. But before he could continue, Shifting Shadow launched himself into the air and disappeared. Silver Shadow shouted after him, but there was no response. Left alone, he clicked his tongue. Then, while grinding his teeth, he quietly admitted to himself that he was scared. The scene shifted again. Deep within the mountains stood the heavenly demonic castle of Mubon. The fortress was surrounded by steep cliffs and illuminated with dark red light. Outside its enormous gates, Silver Shadow stood nervously. Water Shadow was being carried behind him on a stretcher by servants. Looking at her, he repeatedly reassured himself that nothing bad would happen. After taking a breath, he pushed open the gate. Inside the palace court, Mubon sat on his throne. Silver Shadow immediately entered. Without hesitation, he dropped to his knees and bowed. He reported that the first stratagem had been completed successfully. He tried to downplay Water Shadow's injuries and insisted there had been no real issues. Then he explained that the Namgung clan had been destroyed. He added that he personally brought back the patriarch's head. He also began mentioning Tang Wu, but then he suddenly froze. Without noticing, Mubon had already appeared behind him. With a cold expression, Mubon asked him to repeat himself. Then he quietly questioned whether the first stratagem had truly ended without any problems.